What's up?
What's up? How's it going, everybody? This is part 2 of Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. For those of you checking this out on YouTube, there will be a timestamp in the description below for when I get started into the gameplay. I'm not going to take too long here. We're going to get into it, but we did see some good stuff on Sunday night. We saw Desmond and crew, along with his father, make it to the Grand Temple, into the Grand Temple, with Ezio's Apple of Eden. And then we dove into the Animus and relived some of Haytham Kenway's memories. He started off in England, assassinated somebody in the Templar Order, Reginald Birch, got the key from him, and then traveled to colonial America, where he assembled his crew and thought he found what he was looking for with the natives of the land, and then realized that's not what he's looking for, when in reality it kind of is, but he doesn't think so. We'll see more of that later. But in the process, has a little romantic rendezvous with Zio, as he calls her, in the cave, when he realizes he doesn't have what he thinks he has. At that point, we step out of the Animus. We see some tension between Desmond and William, his father, which has built up over many, many years, and then which proceeds to lead to a pretty interesting and kind of funny moment where Desmond actually tells William that he's no better than the Templars, which then William decks Desmond in the face for that comment. So there's some long-running history between those two characters that's been established over the previous games. But it's interesting to see them face-to-face now. The Tyranny of King Washington is the DLC that they released for this game. I've never played it, because this DLC doesn't actually relate to the actual game at all. It doesn't expand on anything. It's like an alternate universe kind of deal where instead of George Washington being known as the first president of the United States, George Washington instead becomes a tyrannical king. And I think instead of being on George Washington's side, we are like on the opposite side of George Washington, and fighting against him. So it's like if George Washington was a Templar, I think something like that. I've never played it, simply because it didn't relate to the main story, and there's enough of these games to where I'm just kind of like, if it's not part of the main story, chances are I'm gonna move on. There's enough main story here to keep us going for a while. I have developed a slight cough throughout the day, so I will do my best to keep that to a minimum, and as a result, I think my voice might be going as well. So we'll see how this goes tonight. But before we jump into it, I don't have a can of Mountain Day tonight. However, I do have a bottle of Orange Day. So get yourself a beverage of choice, crack it open, enjoy a swig with me, and let's get started. Can't stream without the day. But yeah, I snagged one of these. Day. There we go. Yeah, I snagged one of them from the break room before I left. So at the end of the stream Sunday, I accidentally went back into the Animus, where Zio basically explains that she got pregnant by Haytham. But then and I left the game inside the Grand Temple as Desmond, but as soon as I start the game, it should throw me right into the beginning of, I think it was sequence 4. So that's where we're going to start. Let's get the game audio going again. Here we are, Suave Beardson. It's like I have a tickle like right here and you know, like between my collarbones, and I just can't get it out. So the bulk of the game took place in the beginning, I believe, between 1752 and 1754. So we're going forward now 6 to 8 years to 1760.
Is it one day star?
Onisa Jerdha.
Ya otena guanek guanek.
Radunagedu, the what Richirunyana, Runajugedu, another Ratu than Yakodunis.
How was? Nexi dosa izi nakahonda di yahaze.
So, I was going to look up how to pronounce his native name before this stream, and I didn't get a chance to do so. And so, for the sake of not butchering it, I'm just going to refer to this character as Connor, because that's what he gets known as later on in the game. Don't venture beyond the valley, which means we're going beyond the valley, right? Well, if you've ever watched Finding Nemo, you know, he's not supposed to touch the butt, but Nemo touches the butt. So, I think it's safe to say we're going to be touching the butt. So, Connor's got to be around 6 years old here, I'm guessing.
Hi, Star.
Hi, Star. Zaga de Deriwasta.
So where are we going? Oh, I see.
Zazah Dandi. Uh-oh, what Zazah Dandi?
Yeah, there's our second warning. Don't leave the valley.
Toganuam Zede, Wakede.
Gundi Gawana Oguaho Yaga Gundi Nagere Gaa Tony Gunas Dinio Ne Okwari.
Wolves as large as bears. And strange men who shoot fire from their hands.
Wagari Warge, the Otstara, Ganatanyadu, Radinagare.
Energy Detadi.
They live in stone villages.
When I heard the what Garitsa Dunyane.
Yagoda Setuga. Haha, Zora Gohadu. Is it as a datum?
Of course we're it.
Aska Degani Asa Gayeri. Aska de what
100? Damn. These kids don't play around. We used to count to like 10, maybe 20. Where are you, Rennie?
Suzizo Yande Negiga.
I mean, you weren't really hiding, my guy. You were just kind of like crouched against, you know, the rocks. That kid sucks. That kid can't hide from nobody.
Waguyat that sorry.
See, that's a hiding spot.
Oh,
Oh, damn, there was 2 of them in there.
Kadugariaks.
Well done. But Connor here has eagle vision, so that ain't gonna work.
Ay daw zaka ni okta su anana adawat kirit sirunyasi.
Sahaya yanire jinia ji askada sehte nana oya yaskahoe. Asahtuge.
I see you.
Wah!
Sahaya yanire jinia ji askada sehte nana oya yaskahoe. Asahtuge.
Yeah, we'll see. Return to the tree. Do I get to hide now? Is it my turn? Is it my turn? I want it to be my turn.
Ho, okne da yung kohare te dana tayo juni jo kore okta iwes.
Tidawat karit siruni.
I feel like the kid that got found first should be the one that's it. That's usually how it worked in our backyard.
Aska, Degini, Asa, Gayerdi, Whisk, Yayak, Sada,
Find somewhere to hide.
Tegu, Jotu, Oyerdi, Oska you are it, Degini you are it, Asa you are it, Gayerdi you are it, Whisk you are it, Yayak you are it, Sada you are it, Tegu you are it, Jotu you are it,
I mean, I feel like I want a better hiding spot than some bushes, but I think all of them are bushes. Or, like, piles of leaves and branches. So I guess we're just going to hide in here.
What have we here?
Charles.
You look familiar. Where have I seen you before?
Timu Dutch.
That wasn't very nice.
He has a plan.
Listen to that. He knows English.
Not for a savage.
Spirited too. We have questions for your elders. Only tell us where your village is, boy, and you can go.
Best do as he asks, child.
I could snap your neck, you know. A little more pressure, and pop. The sad little flame of your life extinguished. You are a nothing, a speck of dust. You and all your ilk, living in the dirt like animals, oblivious to the true ways of the world. The wiser among you recognize the shape of the future. They throw themselves at our feet and beg mercy.
Sand in the Sahara Desert. Yeah.
But not you,
And I am the
Sans.
entire
No.
desert.
You cling desperately to your ways, too ignorant to know your folly. But I am not unkind.
Oh, yeah, you're a nice guy.
And so I spare you, that you may carry word to your people. Let them know the sooner we are given what we seek, the sooner you can return to your pathetic, empty lives. A fair trade, is it not?
What is your name?
Charles Lee. Why do you ask?
So I can find you.
I look forward to it.
I hate Charles, dude. I hate him. I hate that guy.
Have some goddamn faith!
Not in Timu Dutch. Oh, shit.
Yeah!
Oh, sons of bitches.
Ah! Got no it, Nick.
I mean, I would just go under it, but that works too, I guess. He will forever be known to me as Timu Dutch. It fits, though.
Easter! Easter!
Radun Hagedo! Kohnu Gwadi!
Doge!
Radun Hagedo!
Dogoyena was! Gaiges! Atsu yanaratne!
Yahta! John! Onak ti on Sadego! Onak!
Yatsik andene!
Zodzi onaga ona! Se sotstek! Radun Hagedo! Onak ti on zartni gunra zartni duhage!
Dodek!
Aserek! Toga sun haak! Asesege! Nek ti zaderi ondarak! Dinawe! Andini kwe gunhage!
Ya! Zadorissa! Dagwatka! Dagirihu! Akenyagante!
Inurumpa!
Yeah, that was a hell of a game of hide and seek, wasn't it?
Ghana!
9 years later, so now we're in 1769.
Yato ga ni gon roni. Segunda gena quase wahi.
So he's got to be about 15 now.
Gats, ngeni otaseraya. Oyaner mangeni wanundo se edeni rodo ke tinohoda de dom ne ayogara we ori wage. Andi jadas wane edeni sto zeraro ke. Amado ene kane thod andi jatka thuni we ne ayedeni ti nakwa sorry.
So the one thing about this game that does irritate me a little bit is like in Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, we're kind of given a reason why we're going through those specific memories. There wasn't really a reason given for switching from Hatham to Connor. It just kind of did that. So a little bit of context in why that change was made
Wasqueni.
would have been nice.
Zoti the one dore. Easy ona.
Yo, tena de drowned in the ayena.
Huh? Zezak tinuwe yo dikunde. Zahaga yo yanere.
Yung zaskats.
Nekti doni gari was tona yo tuhage. Nona ska guidene ne, the wasa gayeri ni hadi runungwe kaa ta hunana dakwage. So nona askana nage ne, ta de watna neda. Iga gar hagunsu on doratu, kaa on zage on da ditaru. Garu ne zosera aska de wanyawa na hadihage. Yahtes gari was the yunki aqua daze te.
Segun ino tumne.
Ha nekti zaha akta da hunenu haje. Te dun zohun jokna e de waire. Toga yaho tena tai de waire, toga yah tai de waderio. To are na zawane.
Tukni kuhak. Wagerek ta geri hunyani o nirt zia gerata.
Tigawanio. To agots yotti nakuni. Zaha gasto zeriohage ziniotne oya.
Nek zia tamdo era ye edene de negahondage.
Yahta diodun zohun unka e goderianderage wahi. How yungeni dogas ki dogan deni gweni toya yedenewe. Ne dosa ya yedini rada ne unzage.
They're gonna go touch the butt.
Waderian dat seraksa negiga.
Das kena gera.
Onio
Serek zaha yo snorehage nona zijahtadi. Jogu de tonio.
Yeah, it's like we see that we find out that Hatham is a Templar. Sean, if you talk to him, will briefly tell us that Hatham's father was an assassin.
Yeah.
And then we just jump back in the Animus. And we get the message from Connor's mother that, you know, basically she got pregnant from Hatham. And then at that point, we're in Connor's memories now. So, yeah, it's like like they could have done something to explain why we got to switch memories, but that's all right.
Nyawa.
Ona denirata.
Zodzi one dore.
Onio ti isere zaha set satstege doga yacha sadatrege.
Nek ti ohnayawa ne doga antjada ne danogihie.
Doga oya wat ti nakunyanyo akta satkan zera.
He just called you chicken shit. Oh, how convenient that there was a pile of branches there.
Nahoda, wa got ni guruni.
I did that on purpose. Well, I can get 3 more feathers for an optional objective. There's one. There's two. Guess I ain't going that way. Well, let's head towards the marker, see if another nest pops up. There we go. There it is. There we go.
So did the way now down go?
Another email. We'll check that out in a bit.
I want to go on just down the honor.
Yeah, segu de dum zong mai deni wararo ge danu kanehum.
I go here no want to take a direct way.
You gonna learn today.
Anguri hunya, kana dakta ezot kodina gerenyo, toan di jadora de. Dum zong yo snore ang tayo kwate. Yot kwenya siya kan heyate. Kaya tanoru ne giga de ham tanega. Onek tiya de waderi wa kwenyas tage ne sa oyera. Sada denak totas aunta sade sanuni. Toga se sadowate. Ande wadu nege negario. Tano yan wadorat serayan ne.
Agua next is in what destiny.
Jojera tu onek tiya se tsari tinume guja darorox ne gundirio. Tio sumagaro de ti de watskan hukwa. Ti ka negi rata. Zezak nega yendere matrori ti unwak to dundun dawarie.
Place a snare. I don't have one.
Kanaktiyo ne ka ayunt karhara.
Oh, now I do. Oh, hold triangle.
Hauki oya dijat karhara. Kan tozat karhara.
Kaniyot.
Yo yanere. Hau jade nyanda ne zaha gario dawana ye deniena. Jini gariwa sugenir hare.
Alright, gonna track a deer.
Tho idawes. So de sanios niza ona.
Ya, kaya gwire danu kahure au naya anga taksa de ne kanehum. Ne gigas kaya da gesnu sage angats de zi anjena. Onak tis kena sun a ange. Toga oskenundu ayungenika amadego. Takwa de rorok.
So, homeboy's gonna kill this deer with his bare hands?
Ona deni rorake zino hoda de odum zohum.
Damn. He did it.
Onze jatka zera neyunt kar harakwa.
Timing on that was a little weird. I had to wait for it to like turn around so I could, assumedly attack it from behind.
Yama. Timja tum zoni sego, nekti yatte zugini naktude. Onekti de deni zaru anja dorade. Toga idenere yatta de nokta.
Yatte wagderian dare.
Kunye takwa, tazadade.
Have some goddamn faith. Collect meat from 5 animals. Feel like I definitely missed that shot, but I'll take it. Combine bait and snare to catch an animal. Okay, well, let's throw down a snare. I feel like I need to kill this one because I did shoot it, so it's injured. So I feel like, you know, the humane thing to do would be to kill it. But I think I lost it. I think I lost him. Alright, I got one in my snare. That should be my rabbit. Now my optional objectives: hunt more than one type of animal, combine bait and snare to catch an animal. Combine the bait and the snare. I feel like I've gotten all three animals already. I got a deer, I got a fox, I got a rabbit, and then air assassinate 2 animals. Well, we're just going to get one more animal and move on. You know you want it. Unless maybe there wasn't a rabbit in the other snare. Maybe it was another fox. Either way, I got my 5 animal meats. We can move on.
Kana dogu? Ona awa ne. Otku.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit! Thanks for the warning.
Agua gets hanige. Was geht nyagate? Nyawa.
Amze jahtandi ona. Ayawa siro najage hodi ni guhrayanda ne. Tino jera ya ezo de tiena.
Nektiato deot.
Oh niot.
Rat dukhawa hageri hunya.
Nice. Well done.
Agaderian dare dizari hoye was onojera dia garha gunchedeweta. Onojera dia deatia jataranire ne oya ganyoke haga ziwaderio. Uma wasundade donzaderi hua seraguase. Yohunjanorunge yungwadena dayan. Danune amha ajungwaderi wayani ne Ayatia se Dani sege unjunhuza.
Arahaja zidogane gando ayatiri hune ukiswas saha odisas tasirayanda ne.
Yungwadora zine to na yadewayer hage. Yungwayat dodar he zinogayera ne deetiswa neda. Danu ne dogat to no dewayere yot deru ayungwajonha se.
Onujera zitoni yori hawana ne aida wada den hodo.
Look familiar?
Ona hoda tiga.
Kanin hoha.
Oyane?
Greetings, Guardian.
Are you
A spirit?
You may think of me as such.
Where am I?
You are where you were before. If you mean to ask what it is you now see, it is known as the Nexus. From here, probabilities are calculated so that the proper path may be chosen.
What path?
Yours. Follow me.
I don't remember this.
What have you done to me?
Selected a form familiar to your culture. It is designed to ease navigation. We have waited millennia for your arrival. You, who will bring to him the last piece, that he may open the door.
I do not understand.
Nor need you. I sense my words cause pain. But such was not my intention. You are important, child, in more ways than you will ever know. As we speak, forces gather in secret, preparing to seize control of the land. If they succeed, the sanctuary will be breached. Yours is a special lineage. Past, present, future. Many are connected to you. Many who have changed the world, who will change the world. So too shall you. I have called you here that you might know your duty. You must protect the sanctuary from those who would undo our work.
What sanctuary? What work?
Maintaining your current course will result in a negative outcome. Premature access will destabilize the region. Your village and its people will be destroyed.
What am I to do?
You will learn of a man who will provide additional training. Seek this symbol. No doubt you have many questions. Time will see them answered. For now, you must follow, leading the later.
Oh boy. But Grim, did you recognize the apple? It's nice to see something from one of the newer games. Like, as I haven't actually played this game since I played Valhalla, so it was nice to see something from one of the newer games, you know, like full circle back to one of the older ones. I did forget about that earlier when I was like playing Shadows and some of the newer games, how none of it connected. That's one of the few connections, is when Eivor comes to this region and gets that particular, I think they called it an orb in Valhalla, and trusts it to the native local people. Now we see, you know, the reason for that.
Adun hets wagena duni. Wa garo di rungwe daya jadatka. Ahagena dun hase onio di akande. Da tune tigaro nungwe. Easy na gahanda di tunas. Gari wesi wagaderiandere. Tanu ize ki oni. Arahajo zizadetni gorizo ne dosa seri wayena.
Jungar haratstone ayadewa dunhudanuna nexti da sheri de nise. Teot tanu haje hunjage danu ya taundo ayun guada se tunhage.
Ya ka athakitsko danu agader harda dene ay de wanda ne.
Wa gunya dodari sigi owadu era osete.
Ohnu jera di desaderi huwa denyani.
Aze gaya tak kweni daguri huwa deni. Ya hasa giga. Ase tari jina hoda ze saksit kada kunegas. Tonu e dagatka tone gari huayere nitsto. Ne egi garun gwera hawi o yashnena zinio zizat nista hawa shagoshnena.
Yama.
Serdia sadoga nekti gets hani suzi ezos are harde. Was sezakane gari huayronitstu satahatsari.
All right, so the spirits have told us we need to go find the symbol. We all know what that symbol is. We all know what that symbol means. So there's memory sequence 4. There's 12 total in this game, I do believe.
Leaving home was harder than I thought. I expected the journey would fill me with a sort of pride, a sense of accomplishment. But whatever it was that carried me away from home soon fled, replaced by questions, and no small amount of doubt. Had I been too hasty? Had I made a mistake? The others in the village, they thought this was something I wanted, something I chose to do. But it never felt that way to me. No, it was not a choice. It was an obligation. Because if not me, then who?
How far do we need to go? Okay, not too awful far. Did not realize I was going to fall that far. Well, that was a depressing end to Connor's story. It ended before it began. Yeah, the groundwork that they are laying down makes for a really good story. But it's like... Oh, we got brawler challenges now. Okay. Don't know why that randomly popped up, but cool. Because one of the things that I was worried about with Assassin's Creed Shadows was that having, like, dual protagonists would make it harder to, like, get invested into the character stories. And part of that happens, I think, in this game because you, like, just start getting invested into the character of Haytham, and then they throw in the plot twist that he's a Templar, and then you switch to Connor. Which I understand why. You know, it's like, I guess the theme of the game is, you know, Assassin's Creed, so you would want to play as an assassin. So that plot twist and, you know, the way they handled it makes sense. And then obviously with Connor being, you know, part of the local natives, you know, they've got their hunting and, you know, their hunting skills and all that stuff. So it makes sense to put some of that into the game. But here we are now 4 hours in, and we were basically still in tutorial. You know what I mean? It's like the story being told is good, but it's like from a gameplay standpoint, it does take a while to really feel like you're getting anywhere. I mean, yeah. I mean, that does add another layer to the story, and now we're, assuming going to see more of that story from, the other side. From, I guess, the side we feel like we should be on. Because obviously at this point, Connor is heading towards the symbol, which is the assassin symbol. So I guess we'll start getting the story from the right side. So like it's good, but I guess it's tough to explain. I still feel like there's maybe a way it still could have been done better. The story is good.
Get out of the way! After him!
Poachers! Yes, I want to go there. It's like, it makes sense that we would have the hunting and all the other stuff in there, but it kind of just feels like they tried to do a little bit too much with this game. I can't talk to the guy. I can only steal from him. Okay. I feel like I should have took his horse. Okay, so I saw this earlier when I was running around, but I didn't know what it was, and I was trying to get to it. So these are peg leg trinkets.
Hello.
Hello.
You must be one of them native fellas from the, what's it called? Iroquois tribe. Aye. You from that?
Course not, Terry. Iroquois ain't a tribe.
Is so.
Is not. The Iroquois is a confederation.
Confederate what now?
Confederation, ya Tony. It's a group, an alliance. Lots of different kinds of people, all united.
Right. Like I said, a tribe.
Listen, you toddy-headed twiddlepoop. There's a difference between a tribe and a confederation, and it's not my fault your skull's too thick to make sense of it.
Who you calling a twiddlepoop, you crump-back scab? Hey now, this is between me and him.
Yeah, mind your business.
Alright, twiddlepoop. That's a hell of an insult there. Yeah, twiddlepoop. I like your stone village.
What?
I was told you could train me.
No.
Alright, thanks for stopping by.
Go away.
I'm not leaving!
Let's see what is in here about Achilles Davenport. You may not think it to look at him how, but this man was once the mentor of a powerful branch of assassins, the Colonial Brotherhood. Achilles' life before he was an assassin isn't well documented. It seems that most of the records were destroyed when the Templars nearly wiped out the order in 1763. From what I do have, Achilles was recruited in the mid-1730s and became a mentor in 1746. He had a gift for both recruitment and organization, so before long was ahead of a crew of assassins that spanned the colonies and much of the frontier. Achilles strengthened the ties between the Order and the nations of the Iroquois Confederacy, particularly Connor's tribe. Though as far as our records show, Connor is the first Native American to actually become an assassin. I'll talk a little bit later, a little bit more about Achilles Davenport, because his story does get expanded on in one of the another game, but I don't think I'm going to get to that game, at least not on stream. So I'll be able to talk about that a little bit, but I'm not going to explain too much of it now. I'll wait a little while.
I need a place to camp.
That looks comfy. I also kind of feel like they missed a little bit of an opportunity here, because the Juno basically told him, you know, the spirit to him told him to find that symbol. Well, then he just kind of comes up and knocks on the door. Like, I feel like we should have maybe had to go somewhere and actually find that symbol and figure out exactly what led Connor to this. I suppose the beginning of this story is long enough that maybe that's just a small detail that's not needed. But it just kind of seemed like it skipped that. And I would have liked to figure out, I guess, exactly what it was that led Connor to Achilles.
There must be another way in.
Fine, I'll come knock on the back door.
Please, all I ask is a moment of your time.
I apologize if I've been unclear or otherwise confused you with my words. It was never my intention to mislead, so let me try to clarify. Get the hell off my land.
I'm coming up!
Alright, we'll try the side door.
Just hear me out. What are you so afraid of?
Afraid? You think I'm afraid of anything? Least of all a self-important little scab like you? You might dream of being a hero, of riding to rescues, of saving the world. But stay this course, and the only thing you're gonna be is dead. The world's moved on, boy. Best you do too.
I will not leave, do you hear me? I'm never leaving. Just wait, old man.
Fine, I'll go sleep with your horses again.
I will not be defeated so easily.
These are square toes. This'll be easy.
That's what you said last time, and I wound up with a dead horse and a dark eye.
Who are you?
No one you need concern yourself with, little britches.
Best cut for something bad happens.
No.
Can't say we didn't warn ya.
Show me what kind of man you are, Chekhov.
Oi, brothers! You're only making things worse.
Oh!
Ha! Look at the garbage dog!
Songs and spirits can't save you now.
Why are you here? What do you want?
Best ask the boss man.
Shit.
You working for the old man, then? That it? Maybe this will get you talking. Oh.
Oh.
Thank you.
Clean this up.
Just took a bullet to the chest.
Then I suppose we should talk.
Just took a bullet to the chest. Clean this up. And brush your teeth. Let's go. Yeah.
Sorry.
Not your fault. This whole place is ready to come down. Goddamn miracle it hasn't already. Anyway, who are you?
My name is Radohangado.
Right. Well, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Now, tell me why you're here.
I was told to seek this symbol.
Do you even know what that symbol represents? Or what it is you're asking for?
No.
And yet, here you are.
The spirit said that I am...
These spirits of yours have been harassing the assassins for centuries. Ever since Ezio uncorked the bottle. But you don't even know what an assassin is, do you? Well, best settled in then. I've got a story to tell, and it's gonna take a while to get it all out.
I like the Ezio reference in there.
And so, this is why the assassins have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of the Templars. Because if they succeed, your spirit's visions will become reality.
Then I will stop them.
Oh, I have no doubt you'll try. Come on. I've something to show you.
Yeah, still on the Assassin's Creed grind. Evolving Fetus, how you doing? It's good to see you. But yeah, this is probably going to be the last one that I play just to finish up the Desmond storyline. Took a break from the Desmond storyline for a solid month to play Assassin's Creed Shadows when that came out. I just finished that last week. And it just so happened that, like, I played Revelations, and then a week later, Shadows came out, and according to the historical timeline, Shadows would actually be the next game following Revelations. So It just kind of made sense to play that one right when it came out. But we had to put a big pause on the, the Desmond storyline. So we're back to the Desmond storyline, but while you're here real quick, it's good to see you. There's a very good possibility that streaming may be coming to an end for me, so that's the main reason why I'm going to be finishing up with this game, so maybe I've got time to fit in another game or two before that happens. Work-related stuff. But anyways, so we're going to try to power through and see the finale of the Desmond storyline, and then I guess we'll just play it by ear after that. I thought about playing 4 and doing a couple of the other ones, but yeah, it's been since December since I've played. Well, I mean, I've sprinkled a couple things in there, but I started this Assassin's Creed grind in December, so it's been like 5 straight months. Well, essentially, we were told a couple weeks ago that we've got about 3-4 months of employment left, and then our jobs are getting moved elsewhere, and I will be job searching. So, depending on what I get, where I get, and, all that kind of stuff, this may just not fit in the schedule anymore. And there's also the possibility I might get put on another shift before I get shit canned, essentially. And so even if my work schedule changes before I lose my job, then that's going to put an end to that. I might actually be able to do some things, like once I lose my job, because at least for those of you watching this on YouTube, I apologize to kind of put a pause right here, but over here in the States, I'm sure probably anywhere, civil, at least somewhat civilized, has a similar program, but we have what's called unemployment. So if you lose your job, you can get it's essentially, like government funds to replace your lost wages. So I'll be able to get that while I search for another job. So while I search for another job, I could, kind of make a return, at least for a little while. But yeah, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Within probably 3 to 4 months, my job is gone. And I've been at this place for 12 years, so I'm not happy about it. But anyway, enough of that. We can talk about that some more off stream on the Discord or anything like that if you're interested. But
why don't you repair it?
What's the point? Besides, I don't have materials for the job.
So buy them.
Probably needs money for that, bro.
Look at me. You think I can just march into some store, purse full of pounds, and go shopping?
Yes. Why not?
I'm so naive.
Just gonna pause this again real quick. I know that sounds shitty, like everything that's going on, and it is, to a degree. But part of me is actually kind of excited for it because I've dreaded going into this job for years now. But because of the seniority that I have, the vacation time I built up, things of that nature, I don't want to give that up. So I just keep going into this horrible grind day after day after day. So I'm actually going to try to get into a completely different industry and leave manufacturing altogether. So I'm looking at it from a hopeful standpoint, and this might have to get put on pause or might have to come to an end, but all good things come to an end at one point or another. And it's one of them things I don't have, the idea of leaving, for another job in another industry is something that would normally be too risky for me. Because I do have a family and, bills and all that kind of stuff. So it's like this constant grind that I do have does allow me to take care of my responsibilities. And there's a comfort in that. And so I don't want to take a risk that could, hinder that. But when I don't have a choice, it's like, okay, let me be optimistic about this and maybe find some sort of work that brings me a little bit of satisfaction. So it all sounds bad. It all kind of is bad, but I'm not that upset. about it. So, just want to get that out there. Ah, hidden door.
This way.
I may just win a silver cloud, like a lucky, lucky, lucky person. Yeah.
Don't think you can just come in here, throw those on, and call yourself an assassin.
I did not. I would never presume...
That's all right. I know they've a certain allure.
Oh, hell yeah. I've only played this one to completion twice.
Very well. I'll train you. Then we'll know if you've the right to wear those robes.
Thank you.
Name's Achilles.
This game is also probably one of the ones I've, done, in terms of exploring, I've done the least.
Come on, then. We've work to do.
Because the story in this one takes so long to, open up, I pretty much just kind of stick to the main story every time I play it.
You are a speck of dust, a nothing. You and all your kind, living in the dirt like animals, oblivious to the true ways of the world.
What do the Templars want?
I still have yet to buy a
they've
collector's
always wanted.
edition of anything.
Control. They see an opportunity in the colonies. A chance for new beginnings, unfettered by the chaos of the past. This is why they backed the British. Here they have a chance to illustrate the merits of their beliefs. A people in service to the principles of order and structure.
I have seen what is to come if they succeed. They have to die, don't they? All of them. Even my father.
Especially your father. He's the one holding the whole thing together.
I feel like Achilles' reaction should have been way more of an oh shit, that's your father. He kind of just they all have to die, even my father. And he's just yep. Bro, there's no way you knew that information. Why you acting like that's not a surprise to you? Negative review on Steam. Unimmersive.
So I trained. In running, in climbing, in fighting, in falling. And for every lesson that concerned the body, there were two that concerned the mind. Language, philosophy, logic, the arts. Achilles taught most often of the assassins and Templars, their structures, origins, and purpose. Centuries of history condensed into a few short days. I told him of the men who had burned my village, of Charles Lee, and my promise to him. Achilles explained that Lee and his followers were Templars, and that they were led by none other than my own father. If I was to serve the order, these men would become my targets. So I worked harder, learned faster, but for all my progress, it was clear that I still had much to learn. My training had only just begun.
Oh, absolutely. 1 through 3. 1 is a little bit of a chore to get through these days, and even back when it came out, I don't think I actually finished it when it came out. I didn't finish it and actually give it a full playthrough until years later. But 2, Brotherhood and Revelations, the Ezio trilogy, those 3 games are just absolute masterpieces, even still to this day. The third one, I do remember enjoying, and maybe it's just because I've grown up in the States, so I've been taught a lot of the colonial history. But the thing that I liked about Revelations the most was it seemed like Ezio's story was front and centered, and then the historical plot points and the historical events that they put in the game were kind of just in the background. And it seemed to me like with this particular game, they started to flip that. Now, throughout the beginning of this game, up until this point, the story's been really good, and you know, the story of Hatham and the story of Connor joining the assassins, all that stuff. But as you progress into the game, I felt like they put way too much emphasis on the historical events in the game and not enough about the Assassin-Templar conflict. And then once I played the fourth one is actually the last one I played for several years. Because the fourth one, the story was even, at least the Assassin-Templar story in that one I felt like was even worse. And then also that was after the Desmond storyline. Gameplay-wise, Assassin's Creed 4 is still pretty solid, but from the storyline perspective, which to me is the most important, is really when the Assassin's Creed series started to take a nosedive. And I've read before that the original plan for the Assassin's Creed series was for the entire series to end with the third one. And then Ubisoft has just been milking it for 10 years since then. And I can believe that because it seems like every game after this one has had no real direction, and they don't really connect with each other at all. Assassin's Creed 4 is definitely overrated in my opinion. Now, I do remember playing for quite a bit when it came out because the gameplay I enjoyed quite a bit. But in terms of the context and the story, it just did not hit any of the marks for me. So there's the New York outfit. Baltimore, Boston, Jamestown, Philadelphia, Charleston, Assassin outfit, complete sequence 5 to obtain that one. Ezio's outfit. Altair's outfit. Achieve full sync on all main story missions. Oy. Prisoner outfit. Achilles' original outfit. Captain Kidd's outfit. Captain of the Aquela's uniform. The tribal outfit. Colonial assassin. Animal spirit. Bayek's outfit. It's funny that they add this one in there because, I mean, I'm playing the remastered version, so obviously the remastered version came out after Origins, but it's just weird to me that they put that in there. Shay Cormac's outfit, Jacob Fry's outfit. That would just not look right in this game whatsoever. The time period is way off. Edward's outfit, Arno Dorian's outfit. They even got Alexio's outfit in here. And they got Aguilar's outfit in here. That one's interesting. Aguilar is the character from the Assassin's Creed movie, which I watched recently, and it's not great. I mean, they probably put way more emphasis on the seafaring in the fourth game rather than you know, like running around through trees and shit. Are you talking about like the prequel and epilogue like short films that they did? Because I'm talking about the actual Assassin's Creed movie. This one right here with Michael Fassbender in it. This one's not great. But that character outfit in there, Aguilar, that is the character in this one. This movie essentially retconned one of the spin-off games, Assassin's Creed Discovery, for the Nintendo DS. This takes place in the same time period, and so according to Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Discovery with Ezio is no longer canon because this took that place. And then because that movie was so not well received that they were like, Discovery's still canon. They'll both be canon. Screw it. But yeah, the short films were very well done. I really enjoyed both of those. And what's funny is I don't even know where I got the damn thing. But I've got Assassin's Creed Lineage, the prequel film, on DVD. I just found it behind my desk one day, and I'm like, where in the hell did this come from? And it's got some behind the scenes stuff on it and everything. Yeah, I have no recollection of where I got that. Not a clue. Like, I've got a couple other DVDs behind my monitor.
To you as well.
And that one was just in there.
You taking a trip?
I've decided to do something about the house, and you're going to help me. Get it?
Is this part of my assassin training? Dude, it'd be sweet if I could just, like, look behind my desk and continue finding cool shit. It might be the secret gaming gnome. It's like, you know what? I really don't want, like, anything cool, and maybe he'll just put it there. Like, Horizon Forbidden West Steelbook, an art book for $60. Don't want it. Maybe I'll just find it back there one day.
Don't stare.
Sorry.
Come on.
So now we're in Boston in 1770. 16 years after Hatham originally got here.
This place is incredible. The people, the sounds and smells. I could walk these streets for days and know not even half its wonders.
I thought the same as you upon a time. These days, I much prefer the quiet of the countryside.
But there is so much life here. So many opportunities.
For a few, my boy. For a few.
I mean, that's part of the reason I've decided to go back to physical games and just abandon my PC altogether, because I want my games to actually hold their value. Like, with the physical games that I have, it's probably
There's
around...
a store close to here. You're to buy the items on this list. Tell them where the carriage is, and they'll see that it's loaded. Understood?
Yes.
Good. You're also going to need a new name. Your skin is fair enough that you might pass for one with Spanish or Italian blood. Better to be thought a Spaniard than a native. And both are better still than I.
That is not true.
What's true and what is aren't always the same.
What would you call me then?
Kana. Yes, that will be your name. All right, then. Off you go.
I don't think he's going to pass for a Spaniard or an Italian with those clothes, but all right. But yeah, I was PC only from, like, 2019 up until, like, February this year. And the main reason for that change was my computer's getting older, and there's 2 games coming out this year that my PC did not meet the recommended system specs for. One was Shadows, and the other is Metal Gear Solid Delta. And so a $500 PS5 was a hell of a lot cheaper than a $1,500 PC. And so that's the route that I went. And I'm actually really glad that I went that route because, well, had I just, you know, bought $1,500 PC, I'd probably be regretting that decision because that's $1,500 I could use in about 3 months. But the main thing is like the physical game collection that I have is worth a decent amount. Nobody's going to give me that for the games in my Steam account. You know, also Death Stranding 2 is coming out this year, and that's probably going to be, you know, PlayStation exclusive for the first year. And I realized that I really missed the simplicity of console games. Being able to just sit back with the controller, hit the button, turn it on, and off we go. The other thing is like, I think it was in 2018, Steam dropped support for Windows 8. So every game that's in my Steam library, once Steam stops supporting Windows 10, I will no longer be able to play unless I buy a new PC or upgrade my operating system to Windows 11. Now, mind you, it's probably going to be several years before that happens. But my entire Steam library, I won't be able to play at some point unless you constantly have an up-to-date PC. And Assassin's Creed 1 is straight up unplayable trash on PC unless you download fan patches for it. Brotherhood and Revelations also are almost unplayable without doing certain things to make them run better. Older games just run like shit. I can pull out my PS3 and play them just fine. And almost every game that I've been getting lately, I will actually put it in and install it and see if I can play it straight off the disc without updates, without an internet connection, because I still want to be able to play my games 20 to 30 years from now. So, PC gaming, you will like constantly be connected online, and you don't own shit. And a lot of games do have pretty terrible PC ports, unless it's like designed for PC and console at the same time. Those ones, like I think it was A Quiet Place. That game released on all platforms at the same time. And, they basically, like, I've played that game both on PS5 and PC, and it's identical on both. Except for the Unreal Engine 5 issues. Unreal Engine games just run worse on PC, no matter what.
Lost? I need the items on this list.
Will you be paying with coin or trade? Some of these things I have, some I don't. Lumber's hard to come by since my supplier up and vanished. I have the tools and pitch, though. Nails, too. So, where do you want this delivered?
Our wagon is near the State House.
But one thing I do want to note, though, because I saw earlier Grimm said he didn't think that Connor would know that Hatham was his father. When we first saw Connor as a little kid, he had a book. And obviously he knows how to speak English. So I feel like his mother would have told him who his father is. And also taught him how to speak English and whatnot. So, or at least bits and pieces. So it makes sense that Connor would know that Hatham is his father. But for Achilles to just not react to that whatsoever was weird. Yes, she did. Charles actually came in and burned his village down. And she got caught in one of the houses. I mean, typically that's kind of what happens whenever, somebody's father isn't like necessarily part of their culture. They tend to kind of keep that information a secret. But, yeah.
With me to King Street. We'll show them.
What happened?
That's what we're going to find out.
Down to the customs
Follow
house
me.
for a spree. Come along.
Now, did you ever play Assassin's Creed Rogue by chance? Because Assassin's Creed Rogue actually tells more of Achilles' story, and it was actually really good. Rogue had a pretty good story. Rogue takes place in between the Hatham portions of this game and the Connor portions. The thing that I really liked about Rogue is you actually start Rogue, spoiler alert, you actually start Rogue as an assassin and defect to the Templars.
Again, disperse! Congregating in this manner is forbidden!
We're not going anywhere, Bug!
Oi! Why did you go back to England?
No good can come of this chaos!
Unity was
Return to
just
your
bad.
homes, and all will be forgiven!
Never! Not until you've answered for your crimes!
You're right, coward!
You don't scare us.
Pointing guns at unarmed!
We ain't afraid!
Is that my father?
Yes, which means trouble is sure to follow. I need you to tail his accomplice. This crowd is a powder keg. We can't allow him to light the fuse.
But
nothing. Do as I say and go.
Come on, you gosh-gutted coward. You doesn't shoot at me.
Hey, Lobster, go ahead.
I mean, the sandbox style like areas for the assassinations was well done. I did like that, but the rest of Unity was just meh for me. But Rogue, you start off as an assassin and defect to the Templars and actually play as a Templar in the game and see the story told from the Templar side, and it's really well done. The downside to Rogue is the gameplay is just 100% copy-paste of Assassin's Creed 4. Like, they did almost nothing different. Yeah, it's the only game in the series where, aside from this one, I guess you kind of play as a Templar. But Rogue is the only game in the series where you get the Templar side of the story. And the assassins are actually painted as the villains in the story. And it's really well done. Ah, shit. The story of Unity was so forgettable for me that I don't even remember the main character's name. Well, I do now, but for the longest time, I didn't even remember the main character's name. Now, mind you, I've only played Unity to completion once, but Unity and Syndicate both were just kind of eh for me. But I actually didn't play Rogue or Syndicate until after Odyssey came out. Because I played 4. Seriously? I played 4, and the story in that one was so disappointing that I completely skipped Rogue, Unity, and Syndicate altogether. And then I got a hold of I was gifted a copy of Origins, played that, wasn't a big fan of that, and then eventually I played Odyssey, and that one is the one that brought me back to the series. And then when they announced Valhalla, I'm like, okay, I should probably play all of these games and get caught up on, you know, where the story has been and everything like that. So if there was any connections in Valhalla, I could you know, be kind of brought up to speed on every game up to that point. So I've only played Unity, Rogue, and Syndicate to completion once. And that was just to get caught up before Valhalla came out. I mean, I know the big thing with Unity was, well, it was the next game in the series after 3, 4, and Rogue to get like a massive gameplay overhaul. And part of it was due, you know, to the whole like, oh, you can do online co-op missions. Yawn. Didn't care about that whatsoever. And I know that game was just like damn near broken beyond repair when it came out. Like it was in rough shape. I'm still gonna play every one that comes out.
Not quite.
Fucking Charles.
Ugh, damn you! Fire!
Yeah, Timu Dutch strikes again. He has a plan. I mean, yeah, Ubisoft is not a company that you can really defend anymore. But I've invested so much time into the Assassin's Creed series at this point that it's not going to be possible for me to not play them when they come out.
I need to find Achilles.
Ugh. Oh, hell no. We ain't doing this shit. Not with that many people. Ugh. That would be ridiculous. But honestly, Shadows was a solid game. The storyline was good until it wasn't. I thoroughly enjoyed the story until I got to the end. But I just saw recently that Ubisoft has announced like their year-long roadmap for Shadows, and they're going to be like putting
Over here.
more story missions and like dropping little bits of story content in the upcoming year, and I'm just kind of like, eh.
You're Achilles' boy. Connor, was it? I saw what happened at the townhouse. A fine mess, that.
Who are you?
Samuel Adams, at your service. Achilles asked me to get you out of Boston.
Explain.
The whole city's looking for you.
Oh yay, oh yay! A criminal stalks the streets, wanted in connection with the massacre at the townhouse. Citizens are advised to call the guards if they see him. £10 to whoever brings this madman
What am I
to
supposed to
justice.
do?
Honestly, the majority of the story was centered around Naue and not Yasuke.
You can
Yasuke
take
had a
down these
decent story in
posters for
it.
a start. Return to me once you remove the others.
Naue's story was really
down
well
those
done.
posters
Even
and then we'll
Yasuke's
talk.
story was well done, in my opinion. I mean, everybody's going to have their own opinions, and that's fair. But yeah, in the Neo games, Yasuke he was a boss fight, correct? And if I remember correctly, I've never played them, but they called him the Obsidian Samurai in those games, right? Gotcha. Yeah, in Assassin's Creed Shadows, the slave ship that Yasuke was on
I don't like this. With no forum to air their
was operated by the
grievances, it's little
Templars.
wonder the citizens have begun to cry out.
Seditious words, my friend. Take care not to speak them in the wrong company.
I know. I know. Still, I can't help but feel today makes their argument that much strong.
Ah, Connor. There you are. I'd like you to meet Cyrus.
Is he the killer?
A large portion of it, yes.
Cyrus is on our side, or rather...
But
right
Yasuke
price
is, from what I
Have you
understand,
seen this man?
has been documented
Watch him
in Japanese history to a degree. Not nearly as much as that guy, but
Word has reached us
there's
that
no
the man
debate that
responsible for today's shooting may have been in
Yasuke
disguise.
did exist in Japan in some
and
form.
makeup tin were found near the scene of the crime. Witnesses describe a middle-aged gentleman of pale complexion fleeing towards the wharves, rifle in arm.
Thank you kindly, Cyrus.
Pleasure.
Come on, then. There's still one last bit of work to do.
But the main thing was...
Where are we going?
To the printer. Where do you think all those posters came from? They're made by a machine. We need to shut it down.
The main thing that I thought was like... I mean, the controversy around it got ridiculously old. Ridiculously fast.
Damn it, we're too late. Set up a checkpoint. Come on. This way.
I can go by rooftop and meet you there.
No.
As I said when I started this game,
tunnels.
Colonial history was drilled into our brains in school because we live in the States. So I can point out so many historical inaccuracies in this game. Now, the Assassin's Creed games have never been deeply rooted in historical accuracy. Anybody that's played one knows that. So having somebody like Yasuke, who was an outsider to Japan, be involved in the Assassin Templar story made perfect sense the way they did it. Like, if... And it's... The thing is that's not the first game to portray Yasuke in that way, so I don't really see why it's an issue with that game. See, I don't look at the Assassin's Creed games for actual historical accuracy. I look at Assassin's Creed games for good stories. And I felt like what they did with that character was well done.
Here we are, then. I'll see you inside.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, yeah, from what I've gathered, the sources and everything, like you were saying, was all like kind of made up. About him being an actual samurai and this, that, and the other. But I don't think there's a single historian that'll debate that Yasuke did exist, at least to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, was he a samurai? Probably not. But did, Oda Nobunaga have somebody that fit the description of Yasuke, with him? Yes, he did. I know you're not, but I'm just saying, in the context of Assassin's Creed Shadows, it made sense to have somebody like that in the game as an outsider to Japan. To kind of blend the story of the Assassins and the Templars in Japan.
Connor. They'll help us find our way should we get turned around.
I wonder why they built these tunnels.
It worked, is all I'm saying. My opinion as well. Everybody's free to have their own. I mean,
Much as it pains me to say it, we must follow the rats, as they often move in the direction of an exit.
people are passionate about things, and they don't sometimes know 100% why. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed series. Have been for a long time, probably always will be. A series that spans 14 games is never going to be perfect. It's going to have its good games and its bad games, and as long as it continues, it's going to have, good games and bad games. But with the amount of time and effort I put into the series, it doesn't really matter how bad of a company Ubisoft is at the end of the day. I'm probably still going to play the next Assassin's Creed when it comes out, and the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. I'll play it until they don't make any more.
Well, well. You were right. I apologize for ever doubting. No wonder Achilles has taken such an interest in you. Arse.
That's a lot of time.
I don't suppose lockpicking is part of your repertoire?
Okay, so I know Hatham did some lockpicking, but where would Connor have learned this skill?
Well done. The printer isn't far. Let us reconvene there.
It's in Connor's DNA. Oh, we'll go with that. It's the Animus bleeding effect. Yeah, we could also go on that too, because technically, you're like controlling your ancestor with like a puppeteering system in the Animus. So, like, I mean, yeah, we are just reliving memories basically, but at the end of the day, like, in the, I think it's the Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 manuals, they actually call it like the puppeteering controls or something like that. The Assassin's Creed 2 manual is actually really funny. If you've never read through it, I encourage you to do so, because there's like handwritten comments from Lucy in there about how the Animus works and improvements that they made over the previous, version of the Animus. It's really good. Yeah, May 1st serves no.
You ask a great deal of me, Sam.
Has no significance over here.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important, if it wasn't vital.
Happy May 1st, though.
Fine. Just this once, though. In the future, such things will come at a price. Resetting the type is neither quick nor easy. To say nothing of the cost should I be discovered.
I shall not forget this kindness.
Nor I.
His work will see your last little bit of notoriety erased. Come, I'll show you how to leave now that order's been restored.
Gotcha. Yeah, May 4th.
So now you've had a chance to see how it all works. Untoward actions will upset the citizens and inevitably lead to the guards being called.
May 4th over here is celebrated.
They may simply search a bit
by Star Wars fans
and returning to their posts. But should you offend them severely or repeatedly, they'll become much more aggressive in their pursuits. I've shown you 3 ways to turn the tide. Remove wanted posters, bribe town criers, or visit a printer to create your own propaganda.
This feels wrong. Why not just speak to someone and explain my innocence?
You can't be serious.
We counter one lie with another. Words on paper instantly taken as truth. And all of it without question.
They loose this beast. Or have you forgotten? I merely helped you tame and turn it round.
There must be another way. Something more honest.
Well, when you
May 17th is your Independence Day, okay.
No. But until then, we sculpt with the clay we have.
My apologies. I do not mean to sound ungrateful.
Quite all right. I was much the same at your age. You'll grow out of it.
May 11th over here is Mother's Day.
Speak with the harbor master and he'll see you home.
Thank you for everything, Sam. I promise one day to repay the favor.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
I bet you I'm going to help him make some beer.
Like this.
A manly handshake ensues. But yeah, May 11th over here is Mother's Day, and then I think it's the last Monday of May, so the date itself changes, but the last Monday of May is Memorial Day for us as well. And that's possible that Father's Day and Mother's Day came from us. I don't know. Never really looked into it, but it's one of them days that we kind of just like, you know, hey, where do you want to go out to dinner? You know, it's not something, at least me and Mrs. Suave really put a ton of effort into, but it's just kind of just, it's one of those, we call them Hallmark holidays over here because, well, Hallmark is like, at least in the mall where we grew up, there was a store called the Hallmark store, and they basically sold cards for like everything, you know, Father's Day cards, Mother's Day cards, birthday cards, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like Valentine's Day, you know, it's a Hallmark holiday. Yeah, we have quite a few as well, that I don't really pay attention to at all either. Yeah, like this particular year, Mrs. Suave and I, we put no effort into Valentine's Day, but like she went to like our local dollar store and like got me some of my favorite snacks. I went to Walmart and got some of her favorite snacks, and then we made steak for dinner, and I think we watched a movie or something. So it was just a little thing that we did, you know, and like we put almost no effort into it, but it was still, you know, a really nice night for the both of us, you know. Yeah, that's one of them. And then a lot of people go ape shit for Oktoberfest, which has, I believe, its origins in, you know, German tradition. And then a lot of people, whether they're Mexican or not, make a big deal out of Cinco de Mayo, which is May 5th. Like, I mean, that's one of the things about the States is we have a lot of, you know, like when we were growing up, the United States was called the big melting pot, right? You know, it's because we have so many, you know, different ethnicities in this country. And so a lot of them have their own traditions and everything like that, and then it kind of just becomes accepted by everybody. So, like, even though May 5th is Cinco de Mayo, it's a Mexican holiday or, you know, Mexican tradition, a lot of people celebrate it regardless, in their own way. St. Patrick's Day is another one. So it kind of just becomes part of everybody's thing if you want it to be, regardless of whether you're, you know, technically part of that or not. We're a little special over here sometimes.
Welcome back.
You left me in Boston.
The training we've done here is all well and good, but experience is a better teacher by far.
What of my father?
Into the wind, I'm afraid.
We have to find him.
And we will, after the house has been repaired.
But he's out there plotting who knows what.
And what would you do when you found him? If you found him? You're a boy with a few months of training. He's a man full grown who spent decades honing his skills. If you're going to stand a chance against the Templars, you're going to need these.
Ooh, what is these? Hidden blades? Yeah.
Go on before I change my mind.
I feel like just about everywhere in the world is at this point, except for maybe a few places. Oh, I gotta go outside.
Help! Help!
I'm guessing they were Achilles' hidden blades.
No, sir, please! Help! He's going to die!
But yeah, it's like with how easy international travel is these days, I feel like just about more places than not probably have a melting pot of cultures.
Ooh. There's no time! Please come!
All right, what do we got here?
Down there! He's just passed under the bridge!
We're just gonna kill a wolf real quick. A lot of youthful, people thinking they're tough. Yeah, you'll have that just about anywhere, I think. That and the older generation always looks down on the younger generation for, like, pretty much everything.
Help me! Please! Someone!
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help either. I just don't understand why people can't get along, you know? I'm the same way. I don't give a shit who you are, where you come from.
What this
Nothing.
knobbend is trying to say is he's forever
Just be
in your
respectful
debt,
and kind
sir.
to each other,
Who
and
you calling?
we should get along just fine.
You, because you are one.
What were you doing on those logs?
One of the dangers of lumbering. We've got the camp set up a few rods off of here as we're cutting timber. We're hoping to open a mill in the area.
There's a good place not far from the manor on the hill where I'm staying.
I like you already. We'll have a look.
Like, the world is a rough enough place as it is. Why make it harder? You know what I'm saying? I definitely know my fair share of assholes, and it has nothing to do with their culture.
I'll miss
They're just assholes.
quiet, but we can certainly use the wood.
The manor needs a lot of work.
That and other things. Meet me at the small shack by the shoreline when you have time. There's something else you need to see.
What is it?
An asset.
I mean, you could say maybe their culture is being an asshole. Like, that's just part of what they do, but yeah. Look for missions with this icon to recruit new settlers to improve your homestead and help you craft new items. Yeah, I forgot about the whole improving your homestead will give you new resources to trade and unlock new items you can craft. I forgot about the whole homestead system in this game. It's another one of those things I've never spent any time on, and I feel like it's just one of those things that, like, I see what they're trying to do with this game, but part of me feels like with this game, they tried to do too much with it. And yeah, I feel like that was another one of my issues, you know, with the series starting with this game, is that the series over time has just gotten bloated. Like, they put so much into these games that don't really need to be there. And that's, I feel like, another reason why the Ezio trilogy, still to this day, is so well received and, you know, remembered so fondly, is because those games were what they needed to be and nothing more. Yeah, I remember when the game came out, this was the first, Assassin's Creed game that had gotten like a major overhaul since the second game. So, yeah, there was definitely good stuff with this game, for sure. I mean, after 2 Brotherhood and Revelations, putting a little bit of freshness on the series was a welcome change at the time. And yeah, the improvement in the graphics and stuff like that, it was, pretty mind-blowing shit. I'm sure when this game came out, a lot of us were probably sitting there going, oh man, these graphics are so good, I don't see how they could ever get any better. We've been saying that since the PS2 days.
But I have them. Captain Kidd had a secret, to be sure. Just get me a ship and a crew, and we'll find out what it was he held so dear. I met him once, that captain. He was 7 feet tall if he was an inch. I tell ya, legs like tree trunks and a smithy's arms. Almost broke my hand shaking it'll know. I could feel it then when I met him. No weapon made by man could harm him.
But every Assassin's Creed game from 1 to Shadows has been built on the same engine. They've just done engine overhauls, periodically throughout the series. And
go away, boy!
This was the first one since the second one that got a really good overhaul.
Oh, I didn't see you there, old man. I'd have set my home in order if I'd known you'd be calling.
The boy's name is Connor. He's here to restore the property.
Same.
Restore? Restore? Pardon my manners.
Now, what would you like to see in a Red Dead 3? That's the main question, because that's one of
those
those
games.
games.
You need some attention.
That's the fastest ship in the Atlantic, huh?
With a little affection, she'll fly again.
Who is she?
Who is she? Why, the Aquila boy, the ghost of the North Seas.
The boat.
A boat? She's a ship, boy, and make no mistake about it. I thought you brought him here to restore order. I reckon he's the greenest thing on the frontier.
Connor, meet me back at the manor when you've finished here.
You said it requires repairs. You able?
She does need work. A ship is a she, boy. And yes, I can refit her, but I'm lacking in the proper supplies. Some quality timber would help me get started.
I can see to that. How long before she is able to sail again?
Just get me the lumber, boy. I'll raise a crew.
I mean, yeah, I'm goddamn faithing in Red Dead 3, and Grim and I had this conversation with that game, where it was like, I loved Red Dead 1. And then when they announced Red Dead 2, I was stoked for it. And then when they were like, oh yeah, the main character is going to be Arthur. And I'm just like, how are you going to top the character of John Marston? Like, I got kind of disappointed when I found out that you wouldn't play as John in Red Dead 2, because I really enjoyed that character and the story that they were telling for him. But it's like, they caught lightning in a bottle with the Arthur character, I think. Like, the fact, like, partway through Red Dead 2, I'm like, I was like, John's a bitch, man. Arthur all the way, you know? And then, so like with a theoretical third game, it's like, are they going to be able to catch lightning in a bottle twice? You know, me and everybody, I think, has their own idea or their own thought on what Red Dead 3 could or should be. And I know what I would like it to be. I would rather them not go to a Red Dead 1 sequel. I would rather not see a game centered around Jack, because by the time Jack becomes an adult, the Wild West is pretty much a thing of the past by that point. Not saying it can't be done. I mean, they could definitely maybe like blur the lines, you know, and kind of like borrow some GTA shit. You know what I mean? And do kind of like a half Red Dead, half GTA. You know, I call it Grand Theft Redemption. You know, Red Dead Auto, something like that. But I'd rather them go. What I would like to see, and to kind of deviate from what's happening right now in this Assassin's Creed thing, but both Red Dead 1 and Red Dead 2 have a formula. You play as John, he dies, you continue in the epilogue as Jack. And the second one, you start as Arthur, he dies, you continue the epilogue as John. I feel like Red Dead 3 should follow that same formula. However, I would like to see him maybe deviate from that formula just a little bit. I want to play through Red Dead 3 as Dutch. Because before the events of Red Dead 2. Because in the second game, we see the downfall of the Dutch van der Linde gang. And then in the first one, we see the end of the Dutch van der Linde gang. I want to see the Dutch van der Linde gang in its glory days. And allowing the player to play as Dutch would allow the player to be in control of the gang and make decisions for the gang. Then maybe something happens to Dutch. Because at the beginning of Red Dead 2, he talks about how Colm killed Annabelle. So it's like maybe something happens to Dutch, and then the game switches over and you play as Arthur in the epilogue. Like maybe Dutch, you know, something so devastating happens to Dutch that, you know, he has to maybe take a break from the gang, and like Arthur kind of steps up and leads the gang in Dutch's time of grief or something like that. So it would still kind of be like somebody dies and then you take over in the epilogue as somebody else, but it wouldn't be the main character dies. But maybe the Dutch of Red Dead 3, you know, like spiritually dies and becomes a new Dutch at that point. Because Dutch is talked about amongst the gang as like a father figure and a savior. And it's like, so Dutch had to be, in my opinion, I feel like a fairly decent guy. Fuck Micah. Fuck everything about Micah. Fuck that piece of shit. Fuck him. But I feel like the story needs to be centered around the Dutch van der Linde gang for one more game. And then you can maybe do another one, like you could do like a Red Dead Revenge or, you know, something like that, where then it's centered around like the O'Driscolls or another gang. But the Red Dead Redemption trilogy has the potential to tell the greatest, one of, if not the greatest story of a trilogy that's ever been created. What's the matter, Cowpoke? Fuck Micah. That's all I got to say about that.
There you are. I've something to show you. Come, take a look.
What is it?
A ledger. It lets us manage the homestead's dealings.
And these?
That was years ago. Before the slow fever, before the Templars, before everything collapsed. But that's all in the past. Better we focus on what's in front of us. Take up the ledger.
Sean,
That'll
I think.
teach you how it all works.
Now, at the beginning of Red Dead 2, obviously Red Dead 2 starts right after the infamous Blackwater incident. Arthur has in his journal a couple entries before the Blackwater incident. So I would like to see Red Dead 3 essentially end like right before the Blackwater incident. And leave the Blackwater incident kind of this... It's like the most important thing that happens to everybody in the series, but we never see it, leading us to always speculate about what really happened. You know what I mean? Like, because if you were to end the third game on the, like, Blackwater incident, then that doesn't really leave you open for like exploration and everything like that. So it's like I would like to see like maybe at the very end of the game, you know, Dutch steps up in front of the gang, you know, like during the credits or something like that and says like, all right, you know, just one more big score, and you see like Blackwater in the distance or something behind him, because they were settled close to Blackwater before the incident. Okay, stockpile allows you to purchase items from homesteaders and displays the items you currently own. Okay, what's our stockpile? Godfrey and Terry the Lumberjacks have oak lumber available for purchase. Press X to purchase the oak lumber. Use L to select the amount you want to purchase and square to select the maximum amount. I guess the most I can purchase is 3. I mean, that would be a good prologue to the series for sure. Or, you know, to a Red Dead 3. Show Dutch from a young boy, and then, you know, him growing up, him recruiting Arthur, him recruiting John, you know, and basically assembling the gang. And so we'd see the beginning and the glory days of the gang, how we met Hosea, all that stuff. And then, so your trilogy would be the beginning and glory days, the downfall, and then the end. And that whole story just, it would be so good. All right, use L to select the trading menu. Oak logs can be sold to merchants through convoys. Select an available convoy. And we can sell it to the store in Boston. Okay, press triangle to send the convoy. This is all great and everything. And I suppose it's a way to make money, but beyond that. I've always thought telling a story from the end to the beginning would be a really cool way to tell the story. So that's what I really hope they do with it. They could definitely do more Red Dead games, but like you've got Red Dead Revolver, and I think even in Red Dead 1...
Time passed quickly after
hold on.
that. My days a blur of study, training, and work. What little free time Achilles allowed me was spent learning about the Templars, about Charles Lee and my father. I longed to confront them, to put an end to their schemes, to ensure my people would remain untroubled and free. But I knew it was too soon, that to approach them now would see me killed. All my work would be for nothing. Patience, restraint. These proved the most difficult subjects for me. But in time, I mastered them.
I think it was in Red Dead 1, there's like a particular conversation that you can have where...
What'd you do?
Oh, that actually kind of worked out. We don't hear the rest of what Connor had to say. But in Red Dead 1, there's a conversation that can be had with somebody. I don't remember who or where. But John Marston actually mentions Red Harlow, the character from Red Dead Revolver. So it's like you've got Red Dead Revolver, which is its own thing. You'd have the Red Dead Redemption trilogy, which could be its own thing. And then you could do Red Dead something else. And that could, you know, focus around a different gang and maybe the, you know, like the O'Driscolls or, you know, just be a completely different thing on its own. So you could still milk the Red Dead series, but like Red Dead Redemption 1, 2, and 3 should be the Dutch gang and then leave it alone. Sail to Martha's Vineyard to equip the Aquila with a cannon. Officers must also be hired to command the new guns. Do you want to start this naval mission? Yes.
Come aboard and feast your eyes, boy. No, not the left foot. Never the left foot.
So do I.
Look. Step with your right foot first.
Well, that and the GTA thing, it's like, I grew up on GTA 3 and Vice City and San Andreas. Played a little bit of 4.
She is solid.
Played 5, but it's just like, I don't see what else, I guess,
Weatherly
you can
and
really
sleek.
do with GTA that
She'll
hasn't
fetch
been done
12
already.
knots in a stiff gale, near a ship from here to Singapore can outrun her on her best day. What do you say we take her out? Show you what she can do firsthand.
Where would we go?
As it happens, she still needs guns and the officers to command them. We'll launch straight away. Don't worry, lad. I'll make sure you sprout good sea legs. Haul in the mainsail! Get up the rigging! Hand over fist! Come on, men! Let's get her out where she needs to be! Come on, lad. No time like the present.
I also feel like GTA 6 is largely going to be overlooked in terms of its story for whatever online mode they put in it.
Boy, it's time you learned.
I will be 33 in September. Grimm's a couple years older than me.
Take the helm. Come on, she won't bite.
Okay, if it makes you feel any better, I had a guy at work on my 30th birthday. I was like, he's like, how old are you anyway? I said, take a guess. And he goes, I don't know, man, what are you, like 42? And I'm like, I must look like fucking shit for a guy who just turned 30.
You connect half sail. Ha! The killer flies again. Do you feel it, lad? Set a course for Martha's Vineyard. We'll find our guns and officers there.
You know, and that's the other
She's a
thing that's
nimble
really
vessel,
sad.
But the faster she goes, the more cumbersome she grows. And the firmer your hand needs to be. Enjoy this stretch of open water before we come upon those shallows. Call for full sail if you like.
The one thing that's good, I guess the worst part in a way about the whole job situation that we were talking about earlier is this isn't professional, right? So, especially if I leave the manufacturing industry and go for something else, then this is probably going to have to go. Like, I'll still be able to have a beard. It's just going to have to be, like, trimmed up and proper looking and
winds can be difficult to manage.
shit like that. So, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I get that all the time, though. Like, I actually had a dude at work ask me if I have any grandkids, and I'm just like, wow, I look like ass.
Now, take us through these shallows. Careful not to run up on them. The sandbars will slow us down, but the rocks will put a hole through a hole. And if you want to make a quick tack, call for half sail. She's more maneuverable then.
Yeah, I don't understand why some people are just so quick to be so judgmental about everything.
Mind those other vessels! Hold your tack to keep your right of way!
Like, what's the point, you know? Yeah, exactly. Like, I had an issue at work a couple months back, and it's just like, I looked right at my supervisor. I'm like, this shit's just stupid. I'm like, I have one goal when I punch in, punch out. Like, that's it. All I want to do when I clock in is leave, and just let me know what I got to do to get there, so I can go home. That's the only thing I want to do. I'm like, I left high school 15 years ago. I don't want to be there anymore. And he's like, yeah, unfortunately, some people just never seem to grow out of that. And I'm just like, damn, what's it feel like to have peaked at 17?
Cottages! We're close!
And that's the big thing, man, is like, it doesn't matter what you do for a job,
We'll go ashore.
your coworkers can make or break that job. That's why I'm going to try to find a different industry to work in where I can be mostly self-sufficient and, like, not feel like I'm being babysat all day.
Hello, Miss Mandy. You're looking every bit as ravishing as I remember.
After all these years, you sail all the way to the vineyard to pay me compliments?
We are looking for David and Richard Clutterbuck.
Clutterbuck.
Nice to see you, too.
Robert Faulkner. Where the hell you been?
Sorry for leaving like I did, lads, but where I was going, no one could know. You two working much?
No. Between contracts at the moment.
Well, we're looking for gunnery officers. What would you two say to working with me again?
We'd be for getting into a few more scraps.
Good show. The Aquila is a fine vessel. We're fitting all the guns as we speak.
Looks like your friend's about to catch a beating.
Where is Charles Lee?
I don't much care for your tone.
Hey, you don't want to be doing that, Biddle.
Bobby Faulkner turned to wet nursing. It's good you finally realize you're a shite sailor.
Whoa, 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 not in here, gentlemen. Better still, not at all. Bobby, take your friends and get out!
Let's go, boys. Our guns ought to be ready. Come on.
That sounds like that could have been an entertaining time. Alright, now we got our cannons. The funny thing about Assassin's Creed 4, too, is the fact that, like, they introduced, like, the naval warfare and seafaring in this game. And I feel like it was so well received in this game that Ubisoft just kind of went, hey, do a whole game based on that. And then Assassin's Creed 4 was so well received, they're like, hey, let's do a whole game that's not Assassin's Creed, that's just focused on that. And then, like, 10, 15 years later, they pumped out Skull and Bones, which was trash. I never played it, but as soon as I read it was online only, that killed any little interest I had in it. Like, there's a very, very good possibility that if a game comes out and it's online only, my interest is gone.
The young buck was Nicholas Biddle. Nobody. Sails before the mast. Midshipman for the Crown.
Are the guns ready?
Aye, but we won't jump in over our heads. We'll find a suitable target and show you how they work. We've fitted her with a modest amount of guns to start, but rest assured there's ample room to add more should you feel the need.
Like, I remember when they announced Fallout 76. Fallout 76, like that vault was one of the first ones, to get opened.
With half seas over. Should do nicely for a spotted target practice. Bring around broadside, and when all guns are on target, call fire.
Round shot for a start.
It was like the story potential was there, and then as soon as they were like, yep, online only, I'm like, yep, never even gonna play it.
Send round shot, Captain.
Neat.
Well done, boy. Now, aim all guns at her bow and do as much damage as possible.
Some old powder in there.
Good. Now give the swivel guns a turn. More precise. Hit those old powder barrels and light up the sky.
Not bad for a spot, Captain.
You are a fast learner.
Provided something interests me.
Ah, getting a taste for the open sea, are we? We'll make a jack tar out of you yet. Now we should be getting back. The old man is like to have my hide for keeping you out so long.
Now, Mrs. Suave and I did get into Diablo 4 for a while, and we might play some more of that. Simply because it was a game we could play together, because co-op these days is pretty much dead. But Diablo 4 is online only.
Why is he shooting at us?
Did you ever play
Of the crown, disturbing the king's peace? Take your pick.
What do we do?
Naught else but to fight back. Sink the bastard.
Did you ever play Diablo 3?
On him, Captain.
Because Diablo 3, I think, console is not online only. Diablo 3 I haven't played. And Mrs. Suave and I actually play Diablo 4 on PC. So we don't have to worry about paying for, like, PlayStation Plus. That's another reason why I absolutely hate online-only games. Is having to pay to play online. That irritates me to death. I have not platinumed a single game. There's a couple games that I've played on PC that I've gotten 100% achievements on, but that was just Sir Whoop-Ass and Unravel 1, I think, are like the only two I can make that claim.
I'll be betwattled, another one. Where in the bloody hell did she come from?
I've been wanting to get a hold of Diablo 3 for that reason, because it's not online and it's something that Mrs. Suave and I could play together. Boom. It is, and the only, like, I always bought my games on Steam, and you can't even get Diablo 3 on Steam. You have to buy it from, like, Battle.net. Yeah, it was a decent battle, but dude, that's one thing they did really well, in my opinion, for Assassin's Creed 4 was the naval warfare in that game was a lot of fun. And even in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they did the naval warfare in that pretty good too. They even added a dodge roll on console for Diablo 3, making it more unique than PC. Might have changed now, but nice. It's one of those games that's been on my list to get, and I just haven't done it yet.
I got 'em! All of 'em! You get what I need, and I'll give 'em to you. Simple. You got a ship. Could find 'em all to boot.
Who is that man?
Him? Some old soul's always on about letters he's got from Captain Kidd. Nonsense, really, but he doesn't hurt no one, so I'll leave him be. Talk to him if you fancy, but be warned he'll chew your ear off. Anyway, the Aquila's here for you. If you should get a pang for the open sea, we'll be waiting. Now, I implore you to head up the hill before the old man comes out of retirement just for me.
Odyssey is a good example of like a game they could have done without the Assassin's Creed title.
2 weeks, and not even a goodbye before you left.
Sorry.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Anything after Origins, I don't even consider to be canon to the earlier series anymore. Like, Origins was like a reboot of the series, and they just ignore everything before that.
Put them on.
Aw, shit.
Once upon a time, we had a ceremony on such occasions. But I don't think either of us are really the type for that.
Not as big as Valhalla.
Tools and training, your targets and goals. And now you have your title. Welcome to the Brotherhood, Connor.
Yeah, I've only played Odyssey and Valhalla to completion once, and I probably won't be playing them again. The day the Templars cried. I probably won't be playing either one of those games in quite some time. I played them on PC, and then I went and bought Steelbooks for console. So it's like, I can go back and play them whenever I want. But it's probably going to be a while.
Welcome back, Desmond. You'll be happy to hear there's actually good news for once.
Oh?
Yeah? I've managed to locate a power source, and it's relatively close by. Up for a trip to Manhattan?
Is it safe to leave? Abstergo's gotta be looking for us.
Obviously it's not safe. Can't exactly sit around here hoping to get lucky, though, can we? We need that power source. Besides, I'm sure you can cook up some way to hide our movements.
Maybe. The Templars have access to all kinds of satellites and camera systems. We'll need to find a way to mask our digital signature. I can probably camouflage the van, too. But there's not much I can do for us.
That's an easy one.
Oh yeah, I've been checking out the Death Stranding 2 stuff, and like that last trailer that they did when they announced the collector's edition. Honestly, if
local utility companies have assured
if Death Stranding 2's collector's edition came with a physical copy of the game, I'd be tempted to buy it. But that collector's edition only comes with a digital version, and I'm not about that.
What's this?
A remote-operated camera. It'll provide us with a feed while you're on mission. This will let us talk to each other.
We're almost there, so listen up. The artifact is in an office penthouse in Lower Manhattan. At this time of night, direct infiltration is going to get you noticed. I think we're better off having you drop in from above.
What do you mean, above?
I do have to say, though, Assassin's Creed 3 by far has the best modern-day story for me.
Can you hear me? Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
You know, I forgot for a minute that that's Nathan Drake there.
Power up the camera. I've got pictures. Running diagnostics. Perfect. I've got a nice, strong signal.
You call that a strong signal? That looks like shit. I just really like the character of Ezio and the, you know, the storyline that he got was so well done. But I like how in this game you actually do shit in the modern day sequences. That's right. Yep. That, and I like how there's no HUD for this. You know, so the HUD is only, like, Animus technology. Like, the attention to detail that Ubisoft gave Assassin's Creed 1 through 3 is just top-notch, in my opinion. You'll never convince me otherwise. You know, and it's like, by this point, you've learned the basics of the gameplay, so you can get around with, you know, relative ease. You know, without button prompts and a HUD and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, don't hold still. It's a lovely view.
Seriously, Sean? Fuck you.
I actually had to work that day. I was doing snow plowing at the time, and so I had to work that night. And what was funny about that was, like, I told Mrs. Suave when I left the house, I'm just like, well, it's been nice knowing you, you know, the world's gonna end before I get back home. And I got paid that day. And so the amount of money I had in my bank account plus the amount of money that my check was added up to be $666.67. So I had the number of the beast in my bank account the day the world was supposed to end. It was pretty damn funny. I didn't take any of it serious, though, because at least over here in the States, it's like every 3 to 5 years we have a new end of the world scenario. So it's like we've done survive the end of the world over here in the States like probably 10, 15 times by this point.
Jesus.
Look on the bright side. No security to worry about.
And on the not so bright side, the slightest misstep means you're effectively paced.
Shut up, Sean.
Yeah, I can see how it would be a rabbit hole to go down. I can understand that. You can put all of this in the not me right there, man category, though. And honestly, I have to leave a negative review on Steam for this because I feel like it would be a major OSHA violation to just leave some steel beams hanging in the air at the end of the workday, and you know, that's just it broke my immersion.
Almost there, Desmond. Once you reach the top of the lit-up crane, you should be high enough to make the jump.
Should?
It'll be fine, don't worry.
Well, you might want to worry a little. I'm pretty sure she was high when she was running the numbers.
Sean!
A joke. It was a joke. Or was it?
But this like section right here of the game was the game that really made me sit back and think, you know what? I would really, really love to see a modern day Assassin's Creed game. Like an entire game that's just this time period. Because I feel like it could be really well done.
Jump when you're ready, but wait for my signal to open the chute. Timing's really important here. Too soon or too late and you'll miss the building.
Like Spider-Man? Yeah, I suppose like Spider-Man.
Now! Open your chute, now!
I got a feeling I'm not going to make it. Close enough. Maybe Spider-Man was an assassin and the Green Goblin was a Templar. Oh shit. See, I feel like right after that, if they would have put some, like, stealth stuff in here, like Splinter Cell or Metal Gear, where you gotta, like, you know, avoid some guards and not be detected and all that, like, a modern-day Assassin's Creed can be really well done.
So, you must be Desmond. Not exactly what I expected, but I guess your
broke my
doesn't have
immersion.
many options these days.
Who are you?
Ask your father. Now give me that.
I don't think so.
Look, I'm not supposed to kill you, but the boss man didn't say anything about fucking you up. So you got to the counter.
That's some Ezio skills coming in. I remember playing Spider-Man 1 on the PS2 back in the day.
Believe it or not, he used to be an assassin. The assassin, the way I've heard it told, but it turned out he was a sleeper agent for Abstergo, programmed to infiltrate and destroy the organization.
How did he know you were there? We could be compromised.
They must have caught me snooping inside their network and sent Cross to see what we were after. If they were aware of our current location, we'd know. Though, I will say this. Doesn't bode very well for future expeditions.
I've set up some cameras topside. If anyone shows up, we'll see it.
I'd suggest you go see about finding a socket for that power source. Or we can return to Connor if you prefer. All the artifacts in the world won't mean a thing without the key.
I actually know where this power source is supposed to go. So we'll do that, and that'll be a good spot to end the night on, I think. And check our emails. Got to do that. Ugh. Sean is really getting on my nerves. You'd think with everything that's going on, the guy would stop being such a douche. Maybe he thinks it's funny, or maybe it's part of his snarky British charm, or maybe it's how he deals with the stress. Whatever it is, it's getting old real fast. We've got enough to worry about, you know, the end of the world and everything. You'd think he'd show a little restraint or maturity or something. Sorry, not like you need to hear me venting. You've got enough on your plate. Please don't say anything to him, though. William Miles is disappointed. In case you haven't noticed, we're knee-deep in the shit here. I understand this might not be your idea of a good time. It isn't anyone's idea of a good time. Picking fights isn't going to get our work finished any faster, so I suggest you stick to the mission. The sooner we're through the door, the sooner we can get back to our lives, or in your case, the lack of one. Yeah, Evolving Fetus, it was nice to see you again. It was good chatting with you for the last couple hours. I was getting ready to wrap this up tonight anyways, so you ain't going to miss a whole lot. And, of course, I'll be back on Sunday night. Graham will be back tomorrow night. And, yeah, hopefully I'll see you around here pretty soon. Until then, stay suave. William's not the most diplomatic man, I'll give you that, but he cares about you very much. When you were under during that whole bit with 16, he never left your side, even slept in the same room when we put down for the night. Anyway, don't mean to be a busybody, just didn't want you to stay sore with him. Not too sore, anyway. The man means well, even if he's got an odd way of showing it. New database entries. Just a quick heads up, I've pushed a new batch of entries focused on the... I'm just going to call them the natives. I'm sorry. I would butcher that. In order to ensure accuracy, I actually turned to a friend on the outside. Don't worry, he thinks it's for a presentation, so we're in no danger of being discovered. You'll find a new section under the database labeled Surprise, Surprise, the native tribe. It has information on their political and social structures as well as some notes about their material culture. Connor's Piece of Eden. The sphere used by Connor during his spirit journey is clearly first civilization in origin. It appears to function as some sort of temporal calculator. It's essentially a crystal ball, but one that actually works. This can't be coincidental, which begs the question, are there others out there? Now we got some jumbles. Hello. Looking to see if there might be any pattern to this or something, but I'm not seeing one. It looks like a bunch of jumbled mess. Now, this is binary code. I can definitely translate this and post that in the Discord. It works. I should hardly be surprised electrical impulses move from one pathway to another. You call them networks. Our word for them was more akin to road. It is yet difficult to project a thought from one medium to another, and yet it works, it works, it works, it works. Okay. Hatham's blades. I've been doing some digging on Hatham's blades. Still not 100% sure where they came from. My initial instinct was he started out as an assassin. I believe his father was one, in fact. But it appears he was a Templar from pretty early on. Maybe he took them from someone. It's happened before. And they're quite handy. Surprised more Templars haven't put them to use. Pretty easy to build a pair if you know what you're doing. Some more binary code. It might be the same binary code, as a matter of fact. I have found another way to better control the impulses, to formulate a thought and transmit it. To add a sense of structure, a sense of order. You fear order, you're kind. The gentle hand tends the flock. It is a kindness, not a cruelty. I wonder, will you ever understand? Your enemies do in their own way, but they share your base heritage. Their concept is flawed. They are not worthy. You have all proved unworthy of our gifts. Juno. Looks like Juno's really taking a shine to you. I suggest you don't engage her. There isn't time to go down that rabbit hole. It's sure to prove a badger's den. Besides, this whole experience is, actually. That final door. Salvation, was it? But for us, who knows? Here we wait. Here we sit, working towards something we know next to nothing about, but it's our only chance. So there's that, I suppose. You should not meddle in affairs that do not concern you. LOL, somebody doesn't like me. All these Juno visits, and emails too apparently, have got me thinking, what happened to Tinia and Minerva? They're the ones who invited us to this little apocalypse party, and now they've gone and buggered off. A little inconvenient, not to mention rude. I'll try and poke around later, see if there's not some sign of what happened to them. So I believe this binary code is the same in all of them. I think it's a good possibility at this point. It definitely doesn't sound like a human writing that. And up here in this email, it says, I should hardly be surprised electrical impulses move from one pathway to another. You call them networks. Our word for them was more akin to road. This won't actually take long to translate, so I'm just going to do that now. Binary to text translator. Binary code is usually a sequence of 4 numbers. And then a space. So we'll go 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. Convert. That didn't give me much, actually. Let's try a different translator. Decode binary code to text. That, at least this binary code translator I'm looking at, which is from the website qbit.it, this particular bit of binary code directly means Juno, as expected. So yeah, Juno is sending us emails now. Let's see what Rebecca has to say.
I know everyone thinks I'm being silly, but I can't shake the feeling we're being watched.
We are being watched. By Juno. Or some version of her.
Do you think it's a recording? Or is she a ghost? Or something else? Is she talking to us the way Minerva talked to Ezio?
No clue. I mean, who knows what else they were working on down here? There's still so many rooms we don't have access to.
But do you think she's like literally down here, waiting somewhere, still alive?
Still alive? That's mental. That means she'd be at least 75, 80,000 years old? Still powerful, yeah, but not that powerful.
They came down here looking for a way to survive. Maybe they found one.
Alright, well here's dear old Dad.
Son? I I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have lashed out like that.
Shouldn't have punched me in the face?
You have to understand, I've never been very good at this. Never mind that we live rather extraordinary lives.
Yeah, I kinda liked my ordinary one.
You can't escape who you are, Desmond.
So I've noticed.
Look, it's silly for us to go back and forth like this. I admit, I did a shitty job raising you. I apologize, I'm sorry. But it's important you understand it didn't come from a bad place. You're my son. I love you. I guess I was so busy trying to make sure nothing bad happened, I didn't consider the consequences. Truce?
I can't believe it's taken me so long to ask, but... how's Mom? She's not...
No. Your mother is fine. We decided it was safer if we split up for this job.
Always assuming the worst.
For good reason.
Can I at least say hi to her?
I'm sorry, it's too risky. Maybe when we're done.
Right. When we're done.
All right, Sean. What do you got?
Ah, Desmond, there you are. Can I ask a favor?
Maybe.
When this is all over, I'd like to try turning the dial back on the Animus. Like, all the way back. To the time of the first civilization.
You think it would work?
There was no real loss of fidelity when you visited Altair. Then again, that was about 1,000 years ago, and I'm looking at going back at least 70,000 more.
Sure, I'd be up for it. Be interesting to see what things were like back then.
Excellent. I think it would prove most enlightening.
And right there's your fucking opening to do an Isu time period game. For fuck's sake. Ubisoft. What the fuck? Like, there's two settings I really want them to do in this game. A complete modern day series. I mean, I suppose they kind of did that with Odyssey with the Fate of Atlantis DLC, but, you know, and the, you know, like the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC, you know, telling Odin's Isu story, yada yada. But, like, give me a 100% modern day Assassin's Creed game. Like, there's just that little bit we saw with Desmond. Add some combat in there and a good story, some Isu artifacts. There's your fucking story. And then right there, Sean wants to dial the Animus back to the time of the Isu civilization. Why not? Like, give us an entire Isu timeline game. Like, those two things, I feel like, could really bring the, you know, Assassin's Creed series back to, I guess, time periods it should be in. Yeah, it's like, why even put that line in there if you're not going to explore that possibility? Like, that's just wasted potential at this point.
Wonder what's inside.
Only one way to find out.
Alright, and we're a little bit closer. So I came up here to this room and got a little bit of the story, like Juno was telling us about, like the domes they tried to create and whatnot. I'm going to wait to do that until I get the next power source. I can't remember how many there were. I think they said something about there being like 3 or 4. I think there was 4. So there was a door that opened up. I think it was right there, actually. That takes us into the next, like, chamber of this. I'll wait to explore that until I get the next power source. This is actually, again, just like just like last time, Sunday, this is like a perfect spot to end this on. And I'm pretty sure I had just finished up sequence 5. So, Sunday I got through sequence 1, 2, and 3. Today I got through 4 and 5. So, let's see. So we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We still got 7 to go. Let's see here. And it's looking like sequence 5 has 5 memories, 6 has... Or no, I finished 5. 6 has 5 memories, 7 has 4, 8 has 3. And then 9 has 5, 10 has 3, 11 has 3, and 12 has 3. So, I mean, I also don't know how long these memories are going to take and whatnot. I'm assuming this game is going to take me at least 5 streams, this being number 2. But again, I like how the game, like, the pacing of taking a break from the historical timeline into the modern day, I feel like is right where it needs to be. You know, like every... You know, about 2.5 hours has been like the mark of like, okay, let's come out of the Animus and do some shit that matters in modern day. As we get further into the historical setting of this game, this is one of the things that I was talking about at the end of the night on Sunday night, the slow burn. So it's another 3 hours, and like, the story we got was good. You know, we learned a little bit about Achilles. You know, we see Connor being told by the Isu, who he interprets as spirits, you know, telling him the path that he needs to go. All that's good stuff, but the bloat is starting to show up. Like, I don't feel like the naval combat was necessary in this game, at least not right there. It's like, basically, once you get started as Connor, it just throws a massive amount of shit at you. From hunting, to crafting, to the homestead, to the ship. And I just feel like they tried to do way too much, and they kind of just dump it all on you at once. So it's like, here I am, 6 hours into this game, and I still feel like I'm in a tutorial. So, the historical timeline is... It's a slow burn, and they tried to do too much with it. But the modern-day storyline and the pacing of that, I feel like is well done. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more on that last section. Like, climbing the buildings, diving off the crane, parachuting. That was all well and good. But I would have liked to see, like, okay, there's, you know, now we're inside the penthouse. You know, there's a couple guards or something you got to deal with and to either take out or avoid. You know, maybe avoiding some security cameras, you know, actually put some stealth gameplay in the modern day. But, you know, the Assassin's Creed series has always been more about the historical timeline, so I can see why they didn't do that. But the potential for a modern day Assassin's Creed game is right fucking there. The mention of an Isu time period game was right fucking there. But, either way, I am enjoying this game. The Desmond storyline is top-notch stuff. So tomorrow night, correct me if I'm wrong, Grim, technically today, May 1st, at 11:30 p.m., Grim is going to be doing a one-off stream of the game Final Fight, and that was a Sega Genesis game, correct? Let me know if I'm inaccurate on any of that. And then remind us what you're going to be starting next week as well. As a Super Nintendo game, okay? And so what you got coming up next week? Because Grim just came off a full playthrough of Epic Mickey on the Switch. He's going to be doing Final Fight on the Super Nintendo tomorrow night. And then next week, starting his next full playthrough, which will be Heavenly Sword on the PS3. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a game I've only played to completion once. I remember almost nothing about it. So I'm looking forward to that. Over here, we're going to be continuing on Assassin's Creed 3 until completion, so come back Sunday night for Part 3 and Wednesday night next week for Part 4. And then possibly the Sunday after that, maybe the finale of this game. Either that or the Sunday or Wednesday. So we've got 3 to 4 more streams left on this, and I'm planning on moving on to something else, providing I have the time for it. And there's also one more. I know I've been saying this is where I was going to end the Assassin's Creed playthroughs. There might be one more that I do. As it currently sits, as I talked about earlier in the stream, I've recently switched back to console, and I finally got a hard copy of every single Assassin's Creed game for console. With the exception of one, which will be delivered in the mail, I believe, Friday. And I got the Assassin's Creed Chronicles trilogy, China, India, and Russia. Now, those are technically considered spin-offs, but they are canon. And I got those because it's the only other console release I don't have. They're fairly short. They're 2D games. But the first one, Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, according to How Long to Beat, looks to be about 6.5 hours. And that tells the story of Xiao Jun after her meeting with Ezio in Assassin's Creed Embers. So I would like to see how her story plays out. And it's also a game I've never played, and a style that I never expected to play an Assassin's Creed game in. And with it being only 6 hours, that should be a 2-streamer. But beyond that, I'm not 100% sure what I'll be doing, if anything. So we're going to, after the completion of this, we're basically going to be playing it by ear. But you can join the Grimbeardson Discord. There's a link in the description below and pinned here in the chat on Twitch. You can hang out with Grim and I all week long, get notified when we go live, upload videos on YouTube. We'll post our stream schedules. Anything that I may be doing in the near future will be posted there as well. You can also post links to all of your own stuff, and you know, it's good stuff. Come hang out with us. It's a good time. But yeah, you better be in Grim's chat tomorrow, because I'll be there as well. And then come right back here for part 3 of Assassin's Creed 3. And until then, stay suave.